Hello, this is Minister Peacefulpoet. I wrote a poem yesterday, and it didn't get a lot of attention, which kind of surprised me. It's usually a poem that I work really hard on that doesn't usually get a lot of attention. A poem that I just script right out of the air usually gets a lot of attention. It always surprised me. But this one here, I wrote yesterday, and someone wrote back and said that they just didn't understand it. And I was really confused by that because this person was very smart. Actually, has taught me a thing or two. So that really surprised me. So I thought, well, I've done this before. I mean, I wrote a poem once in a forum, and the poem was taken down because the person who owned the forum thought it was just awful. And then, so I had to explain it to him. So I've done this before, so I will do this again. The name of the poem is Better Be False Prophecy. And the reason I named it that was because this is something I feel, and I hope it doesn't come true. So that's why I titled it that. One world, one nation, one dictator potato pillar, naked waiting for the frying pot. Now, I'm sure everybody's heard of one world government. Okay, that's what this is about. Um, One nation is, of course, a part of the one world, order. We have three powers, and the idea is to combine them all into one powerful nation, which doesn't seem like a bad idea. I mean, it sounds like a good idea on the front cover, right? But there is evil plans behind this. Okay, the one dictator potato pillar. Now, this is a description of the Antichrist. Naked, waiting for the naked, waiting for the frying pot. In other words, the Antichrist is going to peel us naked and throw us into the frying pot. Okay, that's what that's talking about. Of course, the Antichrist isn't going to really do that. The Antichrist just wants to do that. Not going to be able to do that, but he's going to try to do that. And we're reaching that time, and it's kind of scary, and I hope it's not so. But anyways, so that's what that's about. Keep your distance. Don't touch. Well, of course, that's talking about what's happening right now, the virus, right? Trees bend their knees to this disease. In other words, trees are powerful. So all the powerful leaders of the world are bending their knees down to this virus. See, so that's what that means. All it ever did was make you sneeze. In other words, you get the virus, but for most of us, now I know this isn't true about everybody, but for most of us, this is true. If we get the virus, we're not going to get that sick, most of us. And honestly, those who are dying from the virus aren't necessarily dying from the virus. They're dying from cancer, diabetes, heart trouble, a whole world of other issues that they have. And the virus is just assisting them in dying. So it's not really a killer. It isn't that of a serious thing. But if you listen to mainstream media, they're scaring the hell out of you, and they're making you believe it's bigger than it really is. But it isn't. Most likely, it'll just make you sneeze. So that's what that's about. And of course, I just explained the next part. Lots of people die, cancer and diabetes, old age, too many margaritas, disease takes the blame. So I just explained that part to you. Nobody sees, coughing up fear. Now, a lot of the sickness that we have is actually caused by stress. So, and the sickness that's actually coming out from us that we're spreading to other people is actually caused by stress. And there's a word for this, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but there is a word for this. Okay? You just got to research it. Trust me, there's a word for it. Sneezing, tears. It's just a descriptive way of talking about crying. President smears, and that's really this is more about. And On my Facebook page, I shared a tweeter from somebody, a tweet from somebody who's famous, and I can't remember his name because I don't remember names very well, whether they're famous or not. Sorry, but talk about how this is really all about the election. Everybody's lying, and it's all about the election. It's all about discrediting Donald Trump. That's why it says President Smears. And it's true, unfortunately, whether you believe it or not, it's the truth. Power is lost, my dear. And that's explaining to, there's a lot of women who hate Donald Trump. So that's why I use that dear instead of son or anything else like that. I use dear because women hate Donald Trump. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I mean, he insults women, you know, but it's really overboard. But I'm just trying to explain to those women power is lost, it's being stolen. And this power goes to the dead in high places. So those are the billionaires who are running the show here. They're dead people. They're not really alive. They have no humanity. And they're so filled with death or whatever, the ugly stuff, there is no spaces left. Fat and greedy. They think it good to thin the herd, and that's what they're doing, unfortunately. And I'm just afraid that we're going to lose this one because we're just so dumb. Yeah. And I hate to say that, you know, I hate to insult people, but that's that's how what I'm feeling is going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but that's what I'm feeling is going to happen. We're just going to be really stupid. And we're going to let this one go by, and it's going to be we're going to look back in history. We're going to say, why didn't we do something? And there are people, of course, who are trying to do something, but nobody's listening to them. Everybody's ignoring them. Everybody's thinking they're quacks or whatever. You got to listen, you know. And I'm not a real expert. I'm just a poet. There's somebody who you can really listen to. You can search them out. And young, oh, I'll put it in. I can't. Young. I will put a link down in this video. Trust me. This guy's a friggin' genius. He really is. You really want to know what's going on? He'll tell you. Okay. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'm just afraid that this one's just gonna get away from us, and we're gonna go back in history and say, wish we would have done something different. I'm just saying that. And of course, the last part of the poem is just repeats: one world, one nation, one dictator, potato pillar, naked, waiting for the frying pan. Okay, so I'll just read the whole thing over. I'm not real good at this. I wish I can remember my poems, you know, so that I can just give it all sorts of power and stuff, you know, but I'm just not real good at that. I can't remember anything I write. I got to read it. And then it just kind of loses something, but I'll give it a shot here. Better be false prophecy. One world, one nation, one dictator, potato pillar, naked, waiting for the frying pot. Keep your distance, don't touch. Trees bend their knees to this disease. All it ever did was make you sneeze. Lots of people die, cancer and diabetes, old age, too many margaritas. Disease takes the blame, nobody sees, coughing up fear, sneezing tears. President smears, power is lost, my dear. Goes to the dead in high places, so filled there is no spaces. Fat and greedy, they think it good to thin the herd. And I'm just afraid we're going to lose this one because we're just so dumb. One world, one nation, one dictator, potato pillar, naked, waiting for the frying pan. Okay, don't hate me. Love and peace.